How's it going, Raider Nation? What is going on, Raider Nation? It's JT and I'm back on YouTube. I'm back to making videos and I'm so excited to bring you unfiltered silver and black content from my mind to the screen to you guys all out there. I'm so excited to be back to making more content for you guys because I personally love the Raiders. I love talking about the Raiders and I'm just excited to be talking about this team. But this season I have very, very high hopes for, and I don't like getting my hopes up, but it's hard not to. But I'm going to be talking about training camp battles that I think are the most important to watch and some players that we should look out for in this training camp. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy the video. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about these training camp battles. Let me know what you guys think about the Raiders in general in 2024, and like and subscribe as well. Part of the team that everybody is talking about, the national media, the local media, everyone is talking about, is the Raiders defense, coming in top 10 in points allowed last year. Just an absolutely underrated unit going into the final weeks of the year, putting in a clinic in Kansas City, putting on a clinic at home against the Chargers, where we got 2 defensive touchdowns in back-to-back weeks. Just a crazy amount of sacks. The best defense we've had since probably 2002. It's been a long time since we had a defense that looks like this, and it's led by Max Crosby, new addition of Christian Wilkins. You have Kuntz breaking out. You have Jack Jones being an absolute beast at corner. You have Marcus Epps and Murray in the backfield. You have a solid linebacker core of Diablo and Spillane. But there's one part of the defense that is not very good right now, and that is the cornerback 2 position. You have Hobbs in the nickel and you're gonna have Jack Jones on the outside, but the hard cornerback 2 is currently undecided, and Jacory Bennett really struggled in his rookie year, posting a abysmal 42.4 PFF grade, and the eyeball test also showed that Jacory Bennett sucked. And I'm not trying to just talk down on a player because I don't want to see any of them suck, but the truth of the matter was he sucked. Behind him you have Brandon Faison, who has been a career mediocre backup corner, has not played meaningful snaps enough to where I'm excited to have him as our probably main option right now. And then you have 2 rookies, Devonshire and Cameron Robinson, who could be underdogs and dark horses to take that cornerback 2 position, but it's not looking great. That is probably the major weakness of this defense, is that cornerback 2 position. But as long as we get someone in there that can be decent enough where they're not a liability, we'll be fine. The defense has too many playmakers to where it's going to be, the reason why we lose games. But overall, I would say Brandon Faison will probably, win it to start, but I would not be surprised if you see one of the rookies later on in the season take over that role. But to start, Brandon Faison's probably the safest pick because he isn't bad enough where I'm going to be like, oh God, Brandon Faison's out there, but he's not good enough where I'm like, oh, Brandon Faison's out there. Now, recently, Antonio Pierce actually discussed this in the very first day of training camp when he arrived and he had that, opening meeting. This is training camp, blah, 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 blah. He was asked who is looking at like QB1 at the moment for the Raiders, and he gave the answer.
When it's right, when it's obvious, like, okay, it's like a no-brainer. No need to rush it. I mean, but when it's clear and it's evident, then we need to make that decision and move forward.
Which is, a very coach answer. He's not going to choose one right now. He's not going to crown someone and then him be wrong. But realistically looking at it, Aiden O'Connell is the front runner, in my opinion, for the QB1 position. He has the trust of Dante Adams. He has the trust of the coaches from last season. But Aiden has more proof because Gardner Minshew has been there, done that. He's won a lot of games in the NFL on bad or mid teams, and he's played at a level where he's going to be really solid. But looking at the numbers comparing the two, it's actually insane how close they are. I mean, one started 11 games, Aiden O'Connell. One started 13 games in Gardner Minshew. One won 7 games, one won 5 games. You have them having literally the exact same completion percentage. 1,000 yards difference in yardage. More yards per attempt, obviously, if you have more yardage. Passing yards a game, though, Aiden O'Connell edges him out, but only slightly, and that's probably playing less games. But then you have more passing touchdowns for Gardner Minshew, but less interceptions on Aiden O'Connell's side, but it's very close there. And it's just like passer ratings close. The only major difference that I have found between the two stats is rushing attempts. And that is where you can have that difference of Gardner Minshew versus Aiden O'Connell.
What the fuck?
Gardner Minshew does a really great job of maneuvering in the pocket and escaping and making plays with his legs, while Aiden O'Connell is a much, much more pocket passer. He can move in the pocket really well. He has great pocket presence, but in terms of like actual making plays with his legs, Gardner Minshew is a far better quarterback. He can throw in the run much better. He can scramble for a good amount of yardage on any given play. But in my opinion, Aiden O'Connell is going to win this battle, if only temporarily. I don't see him being the long-term starter if he doesn't do well. Now, I think Aiden has the potential to be a very, very solid quarterback in the NFL. I do not think we have a diamond in the rough. There's a reason why he was a 6th ring at Purdue. There's a reason why he was a 4th round pick. In all honesty, all that matters is that we have a QB that doesn't make a lot of mistakes and doesn't make, game-ending plays, a lot of interceptions, takes a lot of sacks, any negative plays. They just have to manage the game because they have an all-star cast around them in terms of offensive weapon. Realistically, I would love Gardner Minshew over Aiden O'Connell, in my opinion. I'm a huge Gardner Minshew supporter. I watched Jags games enough because my sister's a Colts fan. Don't ask. But Gardner Minshew, I've been wanting for like 2 years to come to Vegas. I think he would have been a really solid option, and he is a really solid option. He proved himself last year in Indianapolis to be able to take a team to the near brink of the playoffs. I think Gardner Minshew is a very, very solid quarterback, and I would love him to start or at least come in at some point in the season because I think he provides more as a quarterback than Aiden O'Connell does, but we have not seen the potential of Aiden O'Connell. We have seen the ceiling of someone like Gardner Minshew. But I think Aiden O'Connell just wins it out. It's pretty cut and dry, in my opinion. Get the guy that's young to go in first, and if not, you have a very safe option, Gardner Minshew, behind him. That's my take on the QB1 position battle. Now, the player heading into camp that has the most to prove, in my opinion, is Tyree Wilson. My theory of why he was drafted where he was is because the previous regime did not believe in Malcolm Kuntz for whatever reason. They did not see the development happening or whatever. I have no idea what they didn't see in Malcolm Kuntz, but all of Raider Nation saw what they had in Malcolm Kuntz. They thought that we had a second pass rusher. He looked really solid the previous 2 seasons before last year, and then he absolutely broke out when he finally got his opportunity after Josh McDaniels left. As soon as Josh McDaniels left, Tyree Wilson moved inside, Malcolm Kuntz was put in, boom. We had an absolute dynamic pass rush duo between Kuntz and Crosby. Tyree Wilson is now in limbo. He has no spot on the line. It's fine for now. It's okay that he didn't have a position last year because he was still figuring out the league. He had a foot surgery. He didn't really have a training camp. He didn't really have practices that much at the start of the year. He was thrown into the fire as a rookie. He looked so slow, but he did improve as the year went on, if only slightly. So Tyree Wilson is in a very bad spot right now where Malcolm Kuntz took his spot. You have Wilkins, you have Crosby. The other defensive tackle is going to be John Jenkins at nose, or Adam Butler, or I guess Tyree Wilson. But again, you have Wilkins now. You don't need Tyree Wilson in the middle. You have 3 really fucking good defensive tackles. You have 2 really good pass rushers in Kuntz and Crosby. So now Tyree Wilson's going to be a rotational pass rusher at a 7th overall pick. It's just not looking very good for Tyree right now, and I really hope he develops because he was really, really good at Texas Tech. But, the value there for that pick is not happening, and this is the most important camp for him. He really needs to show it. He's clearly a physical freak of nature. Everyone's seen pictures of him. He just looks like just a behemoth of a man, but he needs to actually put the technique to use that behemoth physique to good use. So, in my opinion, Tyree Wilson has a lot to prove, and I hope he proves it, but the future is looking very shaky for him right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But next week, pads go on Tuesday, so I'm very excited to see the news come out of that. We finally get to see, man-to-man, pads-to-pads, actual physical tackling, physical plays on the ball, not just drills and stuff like that. I'm very excited for next week. So stay tuned for TikToks and YouTube shorts about me talking about all the stuff that happens in camp. And stay tuned for next Friday for another video. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out, Raider Nation.